A visit to Mbare Msika on any day will give you insight into the everyday life of a big chunk of Zimbabwe's population. It is acclaimed to be the place where you can get anything and everything. Our visit today is focused on a particular commodity that has gained space in this thriving marketplace. Charcoal. Here at Mbare and other similar marketplaces across the country, charcoal is sold in 50 kg bags, going for at least $5. Demand for charcoal is great, with many people citing the energy challenges being faced in urban areas as the reason why charcoal has become a cheaper alternative. While charcoal production is illegal in Zimbabwe, it has evolved into a lucrative economic activity as this demand increases. While urban areas are the ready markets for charcoal, the story is about where the product is coming from. The Mbare vendors insist that their product is coming from Mozambique, but investigations have also revealed charcoal production industries emerging from within Zimbabwe's borders. One of these areas where charcoal production is a growing business is Muzarabani district in the Mashonaland Central Province of Zimbabwe. Due to its proximity to Mozambique, this area started as a channel for the smuggling of the product from the neighboring country until some locals started to produce from this side of the border. The area is rich in Mopane woodlands, which is the perfect species for charcoal making. Mopane woodlands, however, signal a semi-arid to arid region which is vulnerable to extreme land degradation. The effects of deforestation in these areas will hit hard on local communities, and already the area is reeling under the impacts of climate change, experiencing erratic rainfall patterns and extreme weather conditions. Further deforestation will leave the communities exposed. So for our visit to Muzarabani to find out more about the charcoal making industry, we planned to visit 4 specific areas that were cited as the hotspots. These are Kairezi, Kaitano, Chiwenga, Chiwonde.
Muno munzvimbo medu matakagara mukairezi muno hapana panotemwa marasha kana kuti panopiswa miti yekutoita marasha. Anenge asingabvi munomu. Vanhu vekumozambique ndo vanenge vachitema votora nengoro dzavo vachiisa imomo. Vanozotora takura kuno kwanenge vachitenga ndo vanotakura kuenda nawo kuHarare. Saka vanogona kufunga sekuti anobva munomu, but hamunomu hamuna dambudziko rakaita seiroro. Isusu misangano yakaitwa munomu muvillage matakagara semuvillage mandiri. Ndikati watema muti kana even wekungotoda kuvaka pamba pako unogona kutoenda nembudzi nehuku nebhagedhi rako reupfu rekuti vanhu vadye kubhadhara izvozvo kwasabhuku. Saka dambudziko iroro rekuti munotemwa miti hamuna.
Dambudziko ratingaita sokuona kunzi tinoita zvechako kana kuti wadhi yedu inoita zvechako kubatana kwatakaita neMozambique. Mozambique vanobva kuHarare ndivo vanoenda kunotenga chako kuMozambique vopinda nemuwadhi medu. Saka veEMA neveForestry Commissioner vakatadza kumbotadza kuzvihwisisa, asi vakazozvihwisisa nekuona kuti muwadhi medu hapana panoitwa chako. Zvinoita kuti tive tinopedza dambudziko iro rive rinopera. Kubatana takaronga makomiti muwadhi village by village vanoona kuti zviri kufamba sei. Vakaona kuti zvaipa vanouya vachizivisa area committee inove ward committee. Ward committee wobva vazivisa councillor. Councillor wobva abatana neEMA. EMA wobva abatana neforest commission. Zvobva zvaita kuti hatina dambudziko.
Tisati taziva kuti zvakakosherei taitozviyemurawo kuti ndikanopisawo ndichiita marasha angu ndogona kuwana ndogona kuwana mari. Asi nekuda kwekuti dzidziso iyi yakazouya ichitidzidzisa kuti tichengetedze nzvimbo dzedu, ndo pakazoudzwa masabhuku nemanhikini nevanhu vadanwa musangano kuti vadzidziswe kuti zvakakosherei kuitira kuti tikapisa miti yedu handitika misha yedu inogona kutakurwa nemhepo haizokwanisi kuchengetedzeka zvakanaka.
If we had stopped our journey here and returned to Harare, we were going to leave Muzarabani happy, thinking that we had the complete story about the charcoal production that is being cited as coming from Mozambique. We left the Kairezi Ward 23 happy with the way the residents expressed their understanding of the importance of their forest resources, but just another ward away, a disheartening reality awaited us.
Mumashure mese matabva ngangoti makore matatu mana ndakunda kumbozviona, asi zvakatanga last year muna October zvemarasha izvo. Saka pakunetsana kwataita nevanhu ivo vaiti chikonzero inzara nekuti mvura yatozvishwa kuno kwaisina zvakanaka pamwaka yatabva iyoyi. Ndingangoti kumashure uko mvura yaisanaya zvakanaka asi yainaya zviri nani. Mwaka watabva unoyu nekuda kwekuvhura kwakaita vanhu masango yakabva yatonyanya zvekuti hakuna kuzombonaya mvura yakanaka. Saka vanhu vakanga vane tsika yekuti masikati havashandi, vaishanda usiku. Saka takazoita strategy yekuti mahofoni akanga akasitakwa mangu takazotaura nemapurisa kuti tiapise zvekuva kwete zveprocessing. Takabva taapisa zvekuti aite dota iri nzira yekustopa ende vakabva vamira.
Matanho atakatora ndekuti vazhinji vataibata taivaendesa kwachifi unotongwa kwachifi ikoko kusvika tazoziona kuti hazvisi kumira, kusvika tazobatana neveforestry commission vana mukoma Mufigwa takuvazisa vatonzwa nekufamba nebhaiki vachiuya kuno, dzimwe dzenguva vanotomborara kuno, dziri nzira dzekuti vasevhe vanhu ivavo matiketi. Kana munhu akasevhwa tiketi onzwa kurwadza kwazvo zvova zvomira. Asi dambudziko ratinaro nderekuti vanhu vakuita exercise vawandisa. Anenge akasevhwa tiketi ndiye anombomira, but umwe munhu anobva atoenda kunofoma yake hovhoni yemarasha obva abudirira, zvokonzeresa kuti kumira kwacho kuri kuramba kuchingopfuurira mberi. Rimwe dambudziko ratinaro nderekuti motikari dzinouya kuzotora marasha kuno dzinobva direct kubva kuHarare. Ino yakatora nhasi mangwana dzinodzoka futi dzichitora. Hatisi kuwana rubatsiro ruzhinji paBoomgate. Panenge pane polisi, pane vashandi vecouncil, asi marasha tinongowana achipfuura. Hatisati tamboona vanzi vacho vabatwa varidzi vemarori yayo vachipiwa penalty seinosevhwa kuno vanenge vawanikwa vane marasha. Ndo pane dambudziko redu guru ipapo kuti vanotenga vacho havasi kuregedza kuuya. Saka exercise haigoneke kuti inzi kuno kuinopera iyo ichiwanika vanhu yakuzotenga vachibva kunzvimbo dzeHarare. Dzimwe dzenguva kutongozvitaura dzimwe motikari dzacho dzinenge dzitori dzevakuru haimisike parodi. Dzimwe motikari kuisvikira takadzisikira yakalodha unotonzwa kuti unotooneka kuti uri munhu mudiki kwazvo, hadzimisike. Tobvunza kuti iwe ndiwani uri kubvunza motikari iyo marasha. So dambudziko haripere. Dai tawana shield yepolisi ichibata motikari idzodzo dzorambidzwa noukuru hwadzo, isu tinenge takutozvara ruvengo saward councillor necommunity yako kuti uvarambidze vachiti vari kuraramira ipapo. Takutopinda mudambudziko nevabereki vedu.
We would have wanted the traditional leadership perspective on this issue, but we missed Chief Kasekete. But we did, however, manage to talk to his representation, who spoke to us about the charcoal production problem in his territory.
Inototishungurudza zvikuru nyaya yatinongotaura musangana tinopinda even council zvatakazongoitawo inisasamambo azongotaurira utungamiriri malocal leaders dzisai vanhu vari kupisa marasha zvinokukodzera mukuparadza nyika ramangwana hamuna chamunoshandisa saka miti macho nematiri kuwanawo zvakawanda zvinomakange maakuparadza mhepo yakanga yakuuya ichaparadza misha yavanhu takabvunza mamwe masabhuku kunoko ko marasha kuti vanhu vacho vari kutinetsa toita sei teitowo kuri vanoshamwe musungwa nemapurisa ko zvinotoita sei voforesteri vacho vari kuitei saka isusu nemasamambo tikada kutopawo mhosva voforesteri vacho kuti aiwa kana act ichitendera kuti munhu anofanira kupiwa samon bhadhari find nokuti aone kuzvaradzwa kwazvo nokuti vamwe vanhu vari kutadza kutorima nokuti vari kutorima miti.
With the vision of the large mounds of charcoal that was selling at Mbare Msika and the confiscated bags of charcoal at the Mzarabani Rural District Council offices on our minds, we expected to see large tracts of forests destroyed as we got deeper into Mzarabani. We learned, however, that for now, charcoal producers are practicing selective harvesting where large trees are felled around a big area and are hauled by scotch carts to a kilning site. This information, however, does not offer any comfort because we know that with every tree destroyed, it is a step closer to deforestation. We also bumped into a group of people busy making charcoal, and we had to talk to them first before allowing the Forestry Commission team to arrest them, and we did get their side of the story.
Zvatinoita manje nokuda kwokuti tinenge tichichema nenyaya yenzara saka takatodzidzirawo izvizvi kuti zvinoitwawo kuti zvitese tasingatomboziva sikungozoonawo matangodzidzirawo totanga kutodzidzirawo ipapapo kuti ngatidzidzirewo kuda pamwe zvinoitwawo kuda zvinodi zvinei kungotemawo miti tichita kutema nematemo tapedza kutema togura tichipima mipimo yedu tichironga unidziya idzi tadzironga totema huku dzinoona huku idzi torovera huku dziya idzi toisawo muzvimiti izvi kana kuti majanga okuitira kuti dhaka redu rigare rakavhara miti yakuti irege kuti ndokuti inatse kutsva iri kuchena zvakaita sezvizvi saka tozobva todi kwaopera 2 days only 2 days chete topedza kudaro totobura zvinomaona taite zvinoiteita izvizvi kutori kutobura ikoko tatobura ipapapo unozoona kuzotsvaka zvidii kuzoitsvaka kumabhaya anenge uzouya okudyira masaga otodira kumasaga topera mopo wakadhora kanyi 50 ava zvatopera toti mbonovharawo kuti kadai utengawo kasipo kana kuti mwana wechikoro ingototi wachiita kuti mwana wechikoro arara
So we traveled back to Harare with knowledge and confirmation that yes, charcoal is coming from Mozambique, as it has been doing in the recent years, but now the Zimbabwean community has also joined the bandwagon. Our next stop was the Forestry Commission head office in the capital, Harare, to get a comprehensive overview of the charcoal production situation in the country.
Charcoal production is now a nationwide problem. And we are so worried that almost all the provinces of the country are involved in charcoal production, starting with Mashonaland Central Province in the Mzarabani area, where there are huge mopane woodlands. People are tempted actually to chop the trees and make charcoal instead of using the wood as firewood. You go to Mashonaland West again, Burungwe, those areas are also attacked. Go to Midlands in Gokwe, the Copper Queen area in the Midland province. We also get reports from the Matabeleland North province in Wange district. Almost everywhere, even in Mat South and Mashingo, it's a matter of time before we also get reports. So it's getting everywhere in the country, and we are very unhappy about that development. What it only means is the severe degradation of the land, without even talking about forest degradation. The whole environment in the region, in those areas, are the areas where you get disasters. When we have heavy rains in the country, they get floods. And once they are now deforested, what it only means is it's a huge hazard to the community, to livestock, even to wildlife. And the rehabilitation of those areas is not easy because Mopane woodlands, by nature, they take so many years to grow, so many years that not even a generation can see them if you chop them today. Mopane on average takes about between 70 years and 100 years to mature. So if you chop them today and you expect them to rehabilitate in a short time, then you are cheating yourselves. So it's severe land degradation, severe forest degradation, and also in terms of the challenges we are meeting today on climate change. We are only damaging our environment, rains will not come. People in communal areas or resettlement areas have got user rights for the trees and forests which they have, meaning they are allowed to cut the trees for their own household use, but they are not allowed to commercialize. That is, even selling firewood or going further to make charcoal. They are not allowed by that. So we have the Communal Land Forest Produce Act, Chapter 19.04. It allows people to use all those resources for their own benefit as communities. But as soon as they decide to make money out of that, then that's commercialization, and the law does not allow that. We have that Communal Land Forest Produce Act and the Forest Act, Chapter 19.05. Those two acts are the instruments which we use to control the use or trade in any forest produce. So we are saying to Zimbabweans, we are not allowed to sell firewood. We are not allowed to make charcoal. Our laws don't allow us to do that because that's the major reason for deforestation. If you are taking charcoal, last time we were saying you need perhaps about 4 to 5 tons of wet timber to produce only a ton of charcoal. So that means a lot of trees that are chopped. And for that matter, it's wet timber, not even the dry timber. It's wet timber which produces good charcoal. And what are we saying? Where you chop 4 tons of wet wood to produce 1 ton, how much are you getting out of that? And how much does it take us as a country to rehabilitate that area? You will see that there is no balance. Those who are found on the wrong side of the law, I can say we will chop them. Using the long arm of the law, we are going to chop them as they are chopping the trees, meaning we will send them to jail. We are going to arrest them. Yes, some might disappear through our fingers, but it's only a matter of time before we get to them. We've been to certain areas like the Muzarabani area, we've been to Wange, we've been to Gokwe, all those areas we've been to, and we know even the households who are doing it. Even some of our community leaders who are there, we know them and we want them actually to assist us to stop that kind of menace which is happening because we are only destroying our environment. So the law, in summary, prohibits that, and we send people to jail 1 year and above. That's what we are encouraging even our judiciary to do. Zimbabwe is part of the SADC community, and as authorities within the SADC region, we have got what we call the SADC Protocol on Forestry, where we meet as authorities time and again to talk about our forest resources within the region. Certain countries like Malawi, they had authorized the use of charcoal for whatever purpose, household use and everything. But now, from the last discussions, we were saying that because charcoal is causing a lot of deforestation within our regions, let's encourage our communities to stop it. Other countries were saying, let's have policies which can guide their nations on how to use charcoal. But we learn from the experiences of Zambia and Malawi, even Mozambique. Those policies are not working at all. Go to Malawi today, there isn't any forest to talk about. They've lost all their forests because of charcoal production. And we know we've got people are along our borders in Mozambique. Surely they've been chopping trees in our country, go into Mozambique, produce charcoal, and then bring it back to Zimbabwe so that they hide that it's coming from Mozambique when it's actually trees that are chopped in Zimbabwe. We can only talk to our colleagues in those countries so that we strengthen our protocols, how we control the movement of timber between our two countries, how we control the movement of charcoal or any other forest product for that matter, so that we control these resources. Without that, surely we will lose out. So maybe we will take it further to go to the SADC protocol, even talk to our governments, our presidents, so that they look into the issue of deforestation, because it's a major issue which affects our region in a big way.
One of the major challenges in developing countries is the debate of conservation versus local livelihoods. Despite the various international conventions and treaties on conservation issues, the world's biological resources continue to be lost at an alarming rate, and particularly so in the developing countries where many of the remaining resources are concentrated. Both inside and outside protected areas, biological resources, their management, and people's livelihood systems are complex and intricately interconnected. Communities interviewed for this documentary cited poverty and lack of other livelihood options as the reason for going into the forests and engaging in the illegal activities of charcoal production.
Once we discover that our communities are going to the forest as a last resort, there are community leaders who are there, like our chiefs, our traditional leaders. We also have our members of parliament in those regions who are supposed to be looking after the welfare of their people. We've got a whole ministry of social services which can come in to support with food for those communities, because surely what will happen if those trees are no longer there? We can't say all those people should die. The government must look after them. So we are saying here, there are Zundara Mambos which are done countrywide, and chiefs or traditional leaders who are in those areas where they see that their communities are hungry, there is poverty, they should approach their government to look for that kind of support. Because if we resort to the trees, which take 70 years to grow, what is going to happen within the next 5 years? There will be nothing. And so we can't say we leave our communities to perish. So I suggest that we put our heads together as government through all these ministries, because we all know our responsibilities. As a forestry authority, we may not need to worry per se about that poverty, because we are actually protecting the country against poverty, which may come in a serious way if we degrade the whole country. The poverty will actually escalate in a big way, because we know most of our communities are dependent on the forest. We depend on agriculture, and if we no longer have the trees, where are we going to get the wood to cure tobacco, which we talk about? Where are we going to get the wood, which actually most of our communities, 90% of Zimbabweans use firewood in communal areas. Where are we going to get that? Are we going to say we flood the whole country with exotic species? They also have their problems. But the best are our own indigenous trees, which we are trying to preserve. We are not actually being cruel to our communities when we arrest them or when we take them to court. It's actually a way of raising awareness so that they know that these resources are not only for them, those that are living today, but these children who are coming in future, they also need to have those resources. So that's our point of view.
The Forestry Commission stands on its mandate that charcoal production is illegal in the country, and they will continue to enforce the relevant legislation. But if we have gained anything from our conversation with people from the affected areas, it is the knowledge that it requires a multi-stakeholder approach to effectively deal with the challenges on the ground.
Thank you.